We have ancillary services for patients, Mercy's extensive outpatient physical, occupational, concussion, and trauma clinics continue to follow all patients after recovery until their needs are completely met. Finally, a significant part of trauma care is trying to prevent trauma. We are involved in a number of community service activities and programs. Of these, Mercy's SAFE program, in conjunction with the Janesville Fire Department, to teach women self-defense. A Safe Sitter program, teaching sitters rescue breathing techniques and basic life support. Think First, a national safety program directed at school-age children to reduce their chances of being involved in an injury. Driver Assessment Program, to determine a patient's ability to drive safely, and if needed, to give them adaptive equipment to keep them on the road longer and safely. Project Impact, part of a national concussion screening program focused at school-age children, also offered to all of our head trauma patients. And the SANE program, the only sexual assault program in Rock County. The fact is that all of these resources and staff have been in place and fully functioning during the last year, and that is the data of which the American College of Surgeons reviewed to give us our accreditation today. We will undergo this accreditation review every 3 years. Likewise, we will continue to submit our data to the National Trauma Data Bank. Of that, in their 2009 benchmark report, comparing our hospital to similar hospitals nationally, we have a mortality rate below the national average of 1.35% versus 1.86%. So how is Mercy's commitment to trauma impact on the regional community? Compared to the previous year, our trauma volume, which is all trauma patients brought to us, has increased 82%. Our clinical trauma patient volume, those with the most life-threatening injuries, has increased 141%. Trauma patients requiring admission to our hospital is up 82%. Transfers into our institution by ground or by air is up 214%. Transfers out of our institution are down 48%. These numbers reflect our increased ability to care for our regional patients and their families close to home. This allows us to accept more patients and reduces our need to transfer a subset of patients requiring a level of care at a level 1 trauma center, such as the University of Madison, which has highly specialized services for patients requiring reimplantation of a limb, major burn care, major reconstructive pelvic injury repair, and pediatric care that we do not provide at our hospital. In closing, I would like to share with you a story of Adam Rivers. He is one of our trauma patients who agreed to share his story with the community. Adam was a carefree 22-year-old who was electrocuted while installing an exhaust fan in his attic on September 13th. His friends heard him fall and found him unresponsive without a pulse. They began CPR and called 911. In only 4 minutes, Janesville Fire paramedics were at Adam's side, administering care, continuing chest compressions, inserting a breathing tube, and giving him a life-saving shock to make his heart beat regularly again. They brought him to our emergency department, and we had as a critical response needing immediate care. There, he was met and fully evaluated by our emergency doctors and trauma surgeons. Except for his electrical cardiac injury and third-degree electrical burns on his chest, a full trauma workup was otherwise negative. He was admitted to our intensive care unit, where he was followed by our critical care doctors, neurology, cardiology, and the trauma service. Because of his cardiac arrest in the field, we used the Arctic Sun, a cooling machine which Mr. Bay mentioned, to make him hypothermic for 24 hours, bringing his temperature from 98.6 down to 91 degrees. We do this because evidence-based medicine shows that patients who sustain cardiac injuries have better neurologic outcome if this is performed. After this, he was slowly rewarmed. He began to become more responsive and to follow simple commands. A rehab doctor, physical therapist, and occupational therapist assessed him. He was moved eventually to our acute in-hospital rehab unit. His care progressed until he was neurologically and physically ready to return home and follow up in our rehabilitation, cardiology, and trauma clinics. This all happened by September 18. All this time, his family and friends were able to stay in our community and visit him throughout his hospital and rehabilitation course. Adam would have liked to have been here today, but he could not get off work. He is alive today because of his friends' quick thinking to start CPR, because of Janesville Fire Rescue's 4-minute response time to get to him and give him a life-saving shock, because of the ability of Mercy Hospital and the resources which we have to care for him in both the acute, the rehab, and on an ongoing basis. Thank you very much for coming today, and I'll turn it back to Mr. Bay.
Thank you, Dr. Winnie. I think as Dr. Rob Winnie, Director of our Trauma Surgery, has adequately relayed, is that to be a Level 2 trauma center, it really begins with our paramedics in the field, and it goes through a full integrated continuum of care process that Dr. Winnie has adequately and excellently actually described for you. I'd like to just close the formal presentation by thanking our trauma team and also our panelists, and for everyone who's been involved in helping Mercy to reach this verification certified status as a Level 2 trauma program. Again, the only one that is south of La Crosse, Wisconsin.